Yo, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I am RMB Piper. This is the Piper Academy Network, and that's a long that already got opened and closed just on the orb this morning, guys. AIXBT Crypto and his orbs. I started trading them in the mornings, and man, did they work out well. I pulled in a couple $100, nothing big there. But pretty good trade all around, guys. How are we looking on the crypto bubbles today? Lots of sell-off. Lots of sell-off. Matter of fact, as the thumbnail says, or actually as the title of the show says, $1.7 billion in liquidations in the past 24 hours. A lot of sell-off. Was this a liquidity sweep and a closeout of all the longs before the next pump? I don't know. Remains to be seen. We did talk about this all last week and the week before that we would likely see a pullback after the FOMC. There would be an initial pump, excitement, then the reality would kick in. We would get a sell-off for about sometime in the next 30 days. That's what I said. And then I said, then we are setting up for our final rally in October. So, so far, on track with everything that we've talked about. So let's go ahead and get this thing rolling, guys. You guys know what time it is. Class is in session. Get your notebooks out. Let's go. Let's go. See you on the other side. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. Shout out to the OGs, the Otter gang rolling in here right now. I see HRJ Trading, one of their amazing traders. Did you see that opening trade there that I showed on that? Here, let me bring it up here, right here. Look at that. Orb open, and already got it closed out. Look at that. Probably should have kept it open a little bit. We ran all the way up to the 1-to-1 line. We'll talk about these levels here in a little bit. We are getting a little bit of a pullback right now. But yeah, orb trading there with the OGs. It is OG Monday. I got my OG shirt on. I've got my OG coffee mug with all the otters on it. So, you know, it's how you start the week out, right? That's how you start the week out right. Right? There you go. But let's go ahead and bring up my co-host. Let's get into today's show, guys. We're going to talk about a lot of things to include. Did we just get our only rate cut of the year? We'll talk about that also. But OC, how you doing today, man? How was your weekend? How are you feeling about this market sell-off? I was not surprised at all. You shouldn't have been either, because we both said this was the roadmap for Bitcoin. How are you feeling right now? What do you think about all of it?
Well, I was looking at the beginning of the of a couple of supports, right? And what it did caught me a little bit by surprise. It was the how fast it went through that support. And well, by the way, now that we're here, really quickly, I'm already into a long. So first call of the day, long position on Bitcoin already. Let's try to shoot it up all the way to dynamic reactor. So if you haven't jumped in because it just moving us right here, it keeps pushing upwards. Well, then wait for a little bit of a retracement going, and we're aiming right below the dynamic reactor. But other than that, let's go and check out, for example, something like TAO. What is it? Let me see. Have it in here. That was VVV. And let's go over. I think TIO was a good one. Or XRP. Yeah, XRP. We're looking at XRP. Curious. So there is we were looking for a possible entry on a breakout retest continuation downwards, trying to trade the retest. It actually went up in here, did the range, and in here I was expecting a little bit of more prolonged movement, but I do remember telling you guys, hey, if we make a range in here, get out of there. And that's also because we talked about this with the other with AIXBT Crypto. Hey, having a pattern like this, right, like this, sorry, might get exhaustion.
Pretty much. Got that voice breaking up there. Cracking voices on Monday morning with OC guy.
Oh man, yeah. And then he went all the way down for a loud order block. So there was another one. I don't quite remember. Let me search for it. It was, I think, AIXBT that took basically nothing in here. I'll look into it, right, to perceive that I was expecting an actual little bounce up, and then it just moved straight to the support. Nonetheless, yep, it doesn't come to a surprise, especially after the range that we've seen on the 4 hours. There we go, coming back down right after the little longs that we took for the bounce up continuation downwards zone. So yeah, Not that doesn't come as a surprise, although I was expecting a little bit like dumping today, not yesterday night, and dumping between today night or tomorrow morning. Yeah, it come a little bit faster than I was expecting on time wise. But actually going for support zones, we are nailing every support that we talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. We pretty much hit great here on this pullback right to the quantum reactor. But I do want to show guys on the 4 hour, we triggered the red one here. You see how quickly we went red on this once it started to confirm that this downtrend? Well, it printed red when we were here on the price action. Okay. If you look at what's happening right now, we are coming down on it. But ever since here, this has not turned green. Okay. Typically, it will turn green if it feels like this pump is for real. Let's go back here and take a look. Look, see how quickly it turned green here? After all this consolidation, it turned green right there before that move up. We didn't see that turn green when we broke the quantum reactor here, and now we're retesting it. Will it turn green now is the question, and if it does, I do think that if the quantum reactor is green from here on, this would give us a better confirmation of more upside. This thing reads a lot of algo in this equation, in this indicator here, guys. And typically, like right here, you can see once it broke here, we didn't turn red until here, and then it went down, right? So even though we had a lower level here, the quantum reactor did not register all of the algorithmic data, source data, to trigger into red. So the fact that we're not seeing it green right now yet told me that we would likely be heading down here. And where did we bounce at on the 4 hour? Perfectly on the quantum reactor. So I am watching the oscillator also down here. Guys, we did get the power bar firing off. Hey, downside coming to an end. We hit two of the oversold boxes. Oh, yeah, oversold boxes. And then money flow started to curve back up, and our volume started to come back up. Now money flow is starting to curve also. So we'll have to keep an eye here, guys, but we're getting back into this upper range here of the fibs is going to be key for me to watch. If you can see here, we talked about these. This is a trend-based fib in 3 phases here. And if you take a look at where we actually bounced at back here, this would be your 50%, your phase 1, 1.5, right? We got a double bottom bounce there. This is back in the beginning of September. And we pushed up in and we got a beautiful rejection here with slight wickings on top, but a lot of candle closes inside of that golden pocket range at 117,532. Came back down, tried to hold the platinum pocket, couldn't do it. Look, as soon as we broke it here, look at the candle differences of these versus we've lost the dynamic reactor and the 887. Big sell-off right down to the quantum reactor. So I would be watching because of this fair value gap. There's a fair value gap right here, guys, in this candle. I would be watching that this comes up, closes that fair value gap, and rejects off that dynamic reactor in line with the 887 and gets possible more sell down downside. So keep that in mind. But right now, I do think that we are in line with what we've been talking about of a sell-off sometime after the FOMC, buy the rumor, sell the news. Initially, there would be an excitement pump, then a sell-off. We would be down for September. We talked about this in August. And then get our October finish out on the charts. So that's what I'm watching today, though, guys. And we're going to jump in on some news now. OC, you got anything before we go over to news? So we give a shout out to all of the chat, everyone in the chat there. Alexandra G in here. JR, Wix Wi-Fi in 89. Kelly's in here. Post is in here. Dutchy, what's up, Dutch? How you doing, man? Mark Gustafson. What indicator is that? That is, if you're talking about this indicator, Mark, the quantum reactor and the dynamic reactor. This is from ChartPrime's Market Oracle Pro Plus indicator. Amazing indicators. In addition, Mark, if you don't know, they also, because it's a lot of indicators, there's probably like 50 indicators inside of these 4 suites here, OC. It's pretty crazy. 3 suites. But they did 28 hours of live classes with Alex O Crypto and OC Guy every single Monday through Friday. So 28 hours of classes per month on their Discord. So it's well worth it. Check it out below. That's all I'll say about that. Who else we got? I need some reading glasses. What strength are you on, bro? These are one magnification. So nothing too crazy there going on. Post Harp in here. We got Harp in the house. What's up, man? Who else we got? Who else we got in here? Crypto Coin Mindset. We're going to be redirecting over him and T.I. Joe this morning. And then Steve Hickey's in here. JR, our community trader in our Discord. Appreciate you. Little Fish, BC Port Corp, and a whole lot more. Of course, Alexander G, the mod queen, always in the house with us. We appreciate you dropping that. All right, OC. First of all, let me fix the ticker because we have no ticker at the bottom. I worked very hard to create that. I would like that real time. If you guys don't know, that ticker at the bottom is real-time data. So it's not just there for looks. You can actually see all of the red floating down below OC and I right now on the market. So let's go jump in on the news, get all of this going, and we'll talk about what you guys need to know for today. Get that set up, and then we'll go to news. OC, we'll be right back with you. Oh, wait, before I go, do you have anything that you want to talk about before we go over to the news? Is anything relevant to the sell-off? Did you make any money on it? Anything? What do you got for us, OC, before we go to the news?
Well, let's go check that out really quickly. I did find out the asset that I was looking for, and it was grass. So on Friday, we long grass, right? Pretty neat. It hit one of our targets right up there. And then I was expecting a little bit of a reaction in here, but no, look at that. It went through like hot knife through butter. Look at that. Both reactors going to the order block, and that's when we're seeing that little stop. So this is the one that it actually surprised me a little bit, that did not have its little pause at the reactors, but well, then it's a meme coin. And well, as meme coins take the elevator up, they jump off the balcony when they go down. So no mercy. But we did a little couple of bucks throughout the weekend, and one of those actually was here. That we were waiting on that reaction. It was what is it? TRX. Perfect. So on TRX, we were just waiting for a second, taking profits in here as we bounce from the quantum reactor. So TP number one, as we were expecting right here, coming back up in here, and finally having a secondary, taking profits out slightly below our next area of entry. I'm still waiting for another reaction. We had a reversal, but also we have a sell. So I do expect it coming back up. I'm not going to be closing it and then hitting, there it is, another area of support. And that is because right there, oh, here it is, we have a spike of volume of waiting for us. So we'll see how that plays or how that goes. And well, other than that, looking for bounces on the market. I get prepared, couple of altcoins for when we come back from the news.
Awesome. Sounds great. Shout out to Hachi. By the way, Mark, that's Hachi. He's actually from the ChartPrime community, and he's been in there for years now, getting all this education using these indicators. So shout out to Hachi joining us in the chat. Let's jump over to the news. Let's talk about this, guys. Of course, I don't have it set up. Why would I have it set up? You know, it's only Monday morning. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Give me 1 second. We'll get that up here. There we go. Into the Cryptoverse we go. Looking at the metrics here, guys, on Into the Cryptoverse today, we have our crypto market cap sitting at a $3.908 trillion. The trend on this is sitting at $4.3 trillion. We're about 11% undervalued right now. How about those crypto risk bands? This is for our dollar cost average because it's DCA Monday, everybody. You know, I love DCA Monday. We put it out this morning, 54.1% risk band. That makes this a 2x DCA Bitcoin week. I will tell you, some of the altcoins are looking pretty low right now. I had a couple of them on our list that were at 4x DCAs today. So if you guys are over there and you're in our DCA stuff, go take a look at it. We got the altcoin DCA drop this morning, and we got the Bitcoin DCA dropped every single Monday in our Discord. Looking at the stable coins versus without stable coins on the Bitcoin dominance effect, we are currently sitting with stablecoins at 57.14%. Without stablecoins, we're at 61.46%. Bitcoin dominance still holding in a range that I think it's clear to say Bitcoin is not ready to sell off quite yet in comparison to your altcoins. How about that alt season index, guys? put this out last week that we were in alt season, but how long will it last? Guess what? It's over. It's at 70.45 right now. It is currently neither Bitcoin nor altcoin season. Currently, Bitcoin is got 31 altcoins that it is crushing on returns on investment ROI. Less than Bitcoin. There's 18 altcoins in the top 50 not performing as good as Bitcoin. So that makes it not alt season. We're still close to it, but you can see we've gotten a nice pullback off of that right there. Let's go look at the 24-hour liquidations, guys. Good Lord. In the past 24 hours, 399,038 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at 1.7 billion with the B, guys. The largest single liquidation order happened on OKX. It was a Bitcoin trade. No big deal. Just $12.74 million on a single trade. Who needs that money? Just throw it away. Let's look at this. Bookmarks. X marks the spot. I got a couple of things in here for you guys. One, let's talk about what the Kabisi letter is saying. Current situation. Stocks are rising like the U.S. economy is soaring. Oil prices are falling like we're entering a recession. Gold is rising like the Fed is cutting rates into inflation. I kind of think it is. Bitcoin is falling like Fed rate cuts are postponed. That's possible also. Home prices are rising like more rate cuts are coming. Maybe. Meh. And treasury yields are rising like stagflation has arrived. True story. The market is entering a new era of monetary policy here. Let's check out this thread and see what it's saying here. On one hand, the market is pricing in rate cuts in the AI revolution. On the other hand, the market knows inflation is heating up into a weak labor market. The next few months will be very interesting. Absolutely true story. It's going to be very interesting, but I do think that volatility is what sends us to one more all-time high, and we get ourselves set up to crush the end of this cycle, guys. Michael Saylor, he bought another 850 Bitcoin for $99.7 million at $117,344 per token. Again, Michael Saylor, if you're watching this, come over here to the Bitcoin, to the Piper Academy Bitcoin DCA plan. You can join our Discord. I'll give you free access, Michael. I will help you get better prices than this. The Piper plan crushes your buy-in. So, also Fear and Greed, guys. We're setting that Fear and Greed right now at 45. We're neutral on Bitcoin's Fear and Greed. Ethereum's Fear and Greed also sitting at 47, and it is also neutral. Yeah, $100 billion lost in the crypto market cap since the Fed rate cut. And we talked about this. This is exactly what we discussed, that it would likely lead to a sell-off for about 30 days. Somewhere in that 30 days, not a 30-day sell-off, but a 30-day window for the sell-off, and that's what's occurring there. Yeah, we'll show this later. This is crazy right here. You guys will dig this. This is South Korea doing live streaming perpetual trading like esports competitions, guys. Would you guys be interested in something like that? That would be pretty crazy. And then also we'll talk about this in a bit. I had ChatGPT break all this down, talking about the GDP and how strong our economy actually is doing. Crazy, right? We'll talk about that in a bit. Let's go look at the crypto bubbles here. Bitcoin right now currently down about 2.1% on the daily, making a little rebound on the hourly, but nothing major. Big sell-offs overnight there. Ethereum down 6%. Solana down 6.6%. XRP was down 4.1%. Dogecoin dumping 9.5%. Cardano 6.5%. Chainlink 7.1%, sitting at $21.50. Very far off from $700. Hyperliquid sold off 6%. Avalanche 4.9%. SWE was down 7.1%. That was one of the ones that by the way, that hit that 4x DCA level. So with SWE, Stellar Lumens is down 5.4%. I mean, you can see the HBAR, the Litecoin 7.6%. The altcoins got absolutely crushed in this sell-off versus Bitcoin's 2.1, which is why I still primarily just DCA Bitcoin with very small amounts into my alts. Not trying to lose wealth. I'm trying to gain wealth, right? Matter of fact, do I still have that in here? I want to look. I do. The 4 stages of wealth. 4 stages of wealth, guys. I keep this in here. This is from back last year, September 25th of last year, and this has been in here since then. 4 stages of wealth: stability, strategy, security, freedom. Stability, no debt, bills are paid, savings are funded. Strategy, you're investing, money works for you. I personally think I'm somewhere between 2 and 3 right now. Security, enjoy your money, eat good food, travel. Freedom, money is not an issue. Quality of life trumps cost. So I'm somewhere between 2 and 3. But at the end of the day, guys, money working for you, if your money is just selling off massively with the alts, because that's where you went heavy at on some meme coin or something, or just majority altcoins in a Bitcoin dominating cycle, you're really not letting your money work for you. It clocked in and then it's sat in the back room talking with his buddy, sneaking a vape while he checked out TikTok videos and didn't go to the front of the house at all. So, yep, OG coffee. Got to drink my OG coffee. But yeah, I'm personally thinking with the altcoins, guys. You got to let those altcoins really do their thing. Come back here. There we go. Do their thing when it's their time and focus on Bitcoin. That's just my opinion, my humble opinion. How's the stock market looking? TradFi, guys, Dow Jones, S&P, both down today. NASDAQ just barely up 0.14%. Small caps taking another sell-off, and the volatility index is increasing, sitting right now at 15.9, up 2.91%. How are the markets overnight for Europe? Mostly red. Cut a couple of greens there. Asia markets, mostly green. Had a couple of reds there. Nifty 50 and the HSI, both in the red. Japan market, China, Shanghai, all that in the green. Bonds, the 10-year treasury yield. Talked about this also. Yes, we have 7.77K subs, Alexander G. We're getting there. We're building up. It's okay. Look at bonds. We talked about, look, if we have a sell-off, if we get a rate cut, we're not going to likely see the 10-year yield dump. We're actually going to see it go up. And we see that a lot. Right now it's unchanged, but we see that happen a lot. We were down in the 4.0. Everyone gets super hopium filled about, hey, rate cuts are coming. That means the 10-year yields. That means mortgages are going to drop. That means car loans are going to drop. Things are going to get cheaper. 10-year yield is the baseline for all of that, and it has gone up. So not seeing a big change on that, meaning mortgages probably going to be going back up again. Sad for those that need to buy a house. So much love to you guys. Let's check out gold. Gold hits a new record high, fresh record high, $3,754, up 1.32% today. Silver's at almost $44 an ounce. And it's funny, I asked my wife last week, I said, hey, should we consider offloading some of our silver? We have about 41 physical ounces of silver. And I said, should we consider offloading this? And she goes, well, is it going to keep going up? And I said, likely. I think it might hit $50, but it doesn't mean that we can't sell off a little bit, 10% of the sell off and then 10% of the sell off as it goes up and then lock in some of those gains, because most of our silver was bought at about $18 an ounce. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Put a 1 in the chat if you think I should take some profit on silver. Put a 2 in the chat if you think I should just YOLO 41 ounces of that shit. Let me know in the chat, man. Copper and platinum both down right now. Palladium up 3.54% versus palladium's 0.69 downside. OC, talking to you. There on that. So let's go look at Costco. Guys, last year, we in our Discord community and also on the show, I talked about defensive plays and stocks that are recessionary proof. I won't call it recessionary resistant, but I will call it they do better in recession. Okay. And one of those was Costco and Sam's Club, guys. Costco and Sam's Club opening new stores and gaining members. They're both doing well. Matter of fact, if you look at Costco, let's go over here and take a look at it. Come here, Costco. Right now, down 4.97%, but they are gaining members, and this might be the time that we take a look at Costco, Walmart, stuff like that. They tend to do better if people feel recession is coming on. And there was a recent article, I think it was Bank of America or PNC, one of the big banks, said that they were looking now at a 93% chance of a recession in 2026. So start taking a look at some of those recessionary defensive plays. Shout out to BC Port Corp. He talks about defensive plays quite a bit, and I'm sure he's got a great list for you guys. So let me see the chat here. A lot of people said no, YOLO that shit. Fun. He said he agrees with RMT. What did RMT say? Buy all the silver. That's what Retro Mike Tech said. Buy all the silver. All right, I guess I'm buying more. That's what I have to do now. Let's go over and take a look at the economic calendar for the week, guys. Right now, this morning, we did get the Chicago Fed National Activity Index was at negative 0.28. This was a revision. Previously, it was negative 0.19, so it got even worse. They forecasted that would be 0.17, came in at 0.12. Still a negative. This is national activity. This has to do with your economic pillars, right? So let's go down here and I'll show it to you. There we go. Chicago Fed National Activity Index is designed to gauge overall economic activity and related inflationary pressures. So still not looking good on this. The index suggests that economic growth increased in August. Production-related indicators contributed negative 0.2. The sales, orders, and inventory category made up a neutral contribution. And then unemployment-related indicators contributed about negative 0.07 to negative 0.1. So yeah, we are seeing some national activity continue to be on the downside there. Nothing major off of that data today, but it is definitely not good. A good look on when you're talking about recessionary scares, inflationary continuation, and weakening labor market. Because if the economic pillars are not doing well, guess what? People, they're not selling goods to employ more people. And so we're seeing that drop off quickly. So Tuesday, right now, guys, tomorrow, we're going to be getting Fed Chair Powell speaking, so be aware of that. That's going to be at 12:35 Eastern Standard Time, 11:35 Central. Chair Powell is speaking tomorrow. We don't really have anything major on Wednesday. We are going to get our new mortgage rates. I'm expecting this to be higher in the 6.4 range. So that's coming out on Wednesday with some other home goods. And then on Thursday, we're going to get durable goods orders and a GDP rate. This is the quarter final, okay? Meaning we've had the preliminaries, well, the advanced release. Now this is going to be the final. GDP is expected to be up 3.3% from a negative 0.5. So curious to see how this comes out. That's going to be at 8:30 p.m. or 8:30 a.m. on Thursday. And then we're going to get Friday, we're going to get core PCE data coming in. This is expected to be either slightly down or neutral. So this could be a cause for the markets to rally by Friday. Keep that in mind and be watching that. That's going to be coming out at 7:30 also. How about the FedWatch? Let's talk about this and look at this currently, because this is CME Group talking about the rate cuts. And you can see now for October, we have an 89.8% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut. We're now looking at a 10.2% chance that we get no change. It stays right where it's at. So starting to see no more rate cuts for the year, starting to eke its way up there. It was in like 6%, then 8%. Now it's at 10.2. And this is pretty interesting because Atlanta's Fed Bostic is hesitant on more rate cuts this year. This is the Atlanta Fed, right? Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta President Raphael Bostic said Monday this persistent inflation risk leaves him reluctant to back another interest rate reduction this year. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Bostic said he baked in just one rate cut for this year, September. Done. The Fed already cut rates last week by 25 basis points for the first time this year. By comparison, the median FOMC projection for 2025 standing at a total of 3 rate cuts. That would be one more in October, one in December. We do not have a meeting in November, and we just had one for September. So October, nothing in November. December, that would be 2, plus September makes 3, and that is what the FOMC projection is. Bostic is saying that that might have been the only one that we had in September. I'm concerned with the inflation that has been too high for too long. It's pretty sticky for some transient inflation. Am I right? And so today I would not be moving or in favor of a rate cut, but we'll see what happened. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Fed chief supported last week's rate cut decision because unlike 3 months ago, the economic outlook now shows a more balanced trade-off of slowing job growth and persistent inflation, meaning he's seeing some balance there on labor market and inflation. And those are the 2 big factors that you have to watch when you're looking at rate cuts. He doesn't think the labor market is in crisis right now. We'll see. We'll see. Do I need to remind you that the negative 911,000 jobs they took off the books only went through March 2025? That leaves April, May, June, July, August, September, right? Which we already know some of those months had negative job numbers. So I would think that that might be a little overzealous of a statement there from him. But he noted that about 1/3 of the recent cooling in hiring stems from limits on labor supply, which such constraints expected to intensify. If those things are going to intensify, and that was the cause, why would we not see more? I think you're leaning a little more towards I hope and a little less towards the numbers say. On inflation, tariff-induced prices gains have been slower than expected thanks to businesses' short-term coping strategies. But as those measures fade, the economy risks a longer period of moderate inflation rather than the imminent price spike. And that could just mean a slow grind up, guys, a bleed in of inflation getting higher while the market just continues to go, sorry, we don't need you either. You guys go ahead and join the other people over there in the unemployment line. So keep all that in mind. A lot of data that we have to act every day. Every day, I try to bring it all to you and give you the so what. So let's look at Bitcoin for the max pain right now. That is where we get the most amount of liquidation pain for shorts and the most amount of liquidation pain for longs. And so looking at the short max pain right now, we're at 118,000, we'll call it. Looking at the long max pain, we're at 109. So 108,998 right down there. So that's about what I got there. We'll jump over and take a look at some articles here in a little bit. But looks like my camera has slightly skipped a beat here. So I'm going to get that fixed. OC, thoughts on any of this stuff? And then also, what are you watching on the charts that might be an opportunity for you now that you got all this data out? What are your thoughts on all this now?
Well, at this point, I'm just looking at the charts. Having the data, well, I do agree with this, but this is something that we've been talking about for over, I think, 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So the possibilities of how many rate cuts, and also not having a 50 basis rate cuts at the beginning, and then having a a 2 or 3 rate cuts over the year of 25 would actually ease out the worries of getting into a depression or economy recession, right? So I think they're playing their cards. I will be following the narrative, and I'm gonna be looking for some longs at this point. Jumping into October, November, that's when we get, and you've know this, right? And I was just but this is the one.
You said
Uh,
jumping into, so I went
just
there.
looking at. Oh, I was talking about the months, but yeah, absolutely. Jumping into October, November, I mean, that's what we start seeing. Things get a little bit better, right?
Yep.
Getting to December, that's when we see tipping over or even, reaching the max potential of icons right there. So I'm going to try to prepare myself for that. More downside might be coming, but still, I'm right now looking for reversals. A couple of those, and this is what I asked you to go to the charts, are TAO. And I want to show you guys that we took a TAO trade to the upside right here on Monday the 15th. All right, we went higher than expected. That was very nice. And then look at here, TAO crossing 311.5. Let's just bring that into perspective. All right, so right here, let me double click it, 311.5. There we go. Let's click it, and that was the alert. So coming into the support area, there we go. We already have hit the next support, right, that we were looking for example, TAO. We have a reversal, right? And we're looking for that flip of the ribbon and our peak performance diamond right there. So other than that, well, I would say that this is still time to start looking for reversals. Important, just like we talked with CRV. We open up along in here, but we were also looking that possibility to create a range. And just to back up what we mentioned, guys, it's always important to have the receipts, right? Let's go back in here. A trade setups with OC. This was 2 days ago, so on Friday. And let's read what it says in here. Let's just play this up. It has no audio, just so you guys know. Here, so if we have these and we do that, well, what is this? Well, we had, and let's just rewind it just a little bit here. If we have the range, let's go for it. Come on, where's Bitcoin? I think I went too far. Back there it is. So if we range in here and make that pattern, most likely we're gonna keep going downwards, right? So better get the H out of there. And what we did, well, exactly that. We did that little ranging here, right? You could also argue that it wasn't not an up ranging range, but it was a down ranging range or downtrending range. And well, then we range out, we finalized going lower, and we started hitting some supports. As you mentioned, most of the supports that we see on important projects are on the on our quantum reactor, and it's not yet green, still on gray. So guys, just be patient here. We could still a little bit more rundown, but I believe that we're gonna be hitting some supports pretty quickly. At this point, I'm gonna be playing my luck with 1/4 entries at supports, looking for that flip of the ribbon and that peak performance diamond on my oscillator. So that's what I got on altcoins. This is what I'm expecting for the rest of the week. And yeah, I think I'm gonna be trying to set a couple of, like, I don't know, up to maybe 4 longs today, between today and tomorrow. We'll see how that goes.
Awesome. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. I see Alexander G there. Actually, it was Dutch. Dutch said almost 8K subs. We are getting so close, guys. If you haven't done so yet, smash the like button and share it with a friend. We're trying to grow here, and we appreciate everything.
Pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Rookie numbers. But we appreciate it. Yeah, we're almost at 8,000 subs, man.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Mike Play, can you look at Soluna? Is that a real token?
I think he means Solana. He probably means Solana.
No, SLNH.
Oh no, that's a new one. Go pull it up, OC. Yeah. Let's pull it up. Pull it up, and we'll talk about that in a second. I want to jump over here while you're looking for that, and we'll talk about this here, guys. Peter Schiff, he's back in the news. Bitcoin to crash even more tonight, he says. Tonight, I don't know. We'll see. Bitcoin might crash even more after the U.S. market opens. There's what he's saying. Get off my chart there, please. Ads, thanks. Longtime Bitcoin critic, see bias, has once again voiced his concern about digital gold's durability. His most recent comments center on how Bitcoin is currently losing ground to the more conventional safe havens like gold and silver. Bitcoin loses to silver. While Bitcoin is already exhibiting signs of strain, dropping more than 1% during the evening session, 2% actually. Schiff claims that gold and silver are gaining momentum. The commodities market is displaying renewed strength as gold is trading above $36.90 and silver is crossing $40 and $43. So I don't know, guys. We'll have to see. I think that it might be, if we do the inverse correlation here of how markets move compared to what some people say, Cramer says he would like endless crypto rally to pause. That's what Cramer says, guys. So I don't know. Me personally, I think that we will see the pause, but I don't think it's going to pause as long as Cramer says. I think he's thinking that a pause in the crypto rally, and crypto traders think that it's a bullish sign. Longtime CNBC host Jim Cramer has taken to the X Twitter social media network to state that he wants the endless rally of speculation, gold, crypto, and unprofitable companies to come to an end. I don't know what unprofitable companies he's talking about, because really, if you look at what has actually missed earnings but still in profit, the companies that are carrying the stock market on the Mag 7. And while, yes, some of them have missed earnings, overall, most of them have made money, so they're not really unprofitable. I don't know who he's referring to in that mix there, but Cramer's contrarian nature. There was a knee-jerk reaction to interpret Cramer's post as a bullish sign. This might be the most bullish thing I've seen in September, one market watcher said. Bitcoin will now go higher. Thank you, Cramer. Another commentator dropped quip there. So Cramer's market predictions have long become some sort of a meme within the cryptocurrency community due to a history of high-profile misses. The analyst's most infamous miss was being bullish on Bear Stearns right on the verge of its collapse. However, it should be noted that there is still bias in play, since traders like to highlight Cramer's notorious misses due to the pundit's sheer popularity. So I don't know, guys. What do you think? Cramer says that he would like to see a pause. Are we about to rally even harder? That's the question that remains to be seen. And then I want to go back here and talk about this real fast. because I said, oh yeah, hey, on the stock side, guys, on the stock side, for those that like to watch defensive plays, Lockheed Martin said it's almost there, and they got a skunk here, and they got this little video here that you can see. Let's let it play. Now, that might seem like nothing to you, but there's a couple of things at play here that I'm interested in. And they're saying coming soon, right? It's almost here. If you guys don't know what the skunk is, the skunk has to do with their aerospace program. And there's a lot of speculation around. I even did some cross-referencing with ChatGPT to have her pull up even more than outside of my chamber, my echo chamber I'm in, right? But they're speculating that this might have something to do with plasma or vehicle projection, propulsion systems, stuff like that. Might be something to keep an eye on with Lockheed Martin for our stock traders over there. Are they about to announce something big in either aerospace, space travel, or something with like high altitude missile systems? Who knows? But yeah, the skunk has to do with aerospace and plasma art research and development. So plasma propulsion. Are we about to be able to go to warp speed and the Vulcans show up? If you know, you know. But yeah, keep an eye on that one there. And then the last thing that I wanted to touch on here before we jump into some altcoins with OC again, this is historic. The U.S. nominal GDP has grown 54% since the 2020 low. And this is talking about that we actually have the strongest GDP growth cycle. If you look at the nominal GDP since World War II, I went ahead and had ChatGPT run a little data on this and give us the breakdown on it. And she said, here's key takeaways. 2020 to 2025 expansion, U.S. nominal GDP grew 54% from the 2020 recession low through 2025. It's the strongest post-World War II cycle that we've seen in the GDP, narrowly surpassing the 53% boom that we had in 1975 to 1978. Context, the rebound was fueled by unprecedented fiscal stimulus, ultra loose monetary policy, and rapid nominal growth due to both real demand and inflation. So if we look at the why this matters, nominal versus real, this is the nominal GDP, meaning inflation is calculated in it. Much of the growth since 2020 is due to higher prices. Combined with real expansion. In dollar terms, even adjusting for inflation, the sheer dollar size of the U.S. economy's growth has been massive, adding trillions to the GDP. So relative to history, previous recoveries were strong, but usually balanced by slower inflation. This cycle's speed is rare and it's happening very quickly. Big picture, the U.S. economy has just completed a historic 54% nominal expansion in 5 years, fastest since World War II. While some of that is inflation driven, it highlights the resilience of U.S. demand and the scale of fiscal and monetary support that we've had since post-COVID compared to the sluggish post of 2008 recovery. Meaning we've recovered much easier and much better since 2020 than we did in the 2008. Will this continue? And is this the reason that we're seeing these markets continue to pump higher and higher? Do we have a little stealth GDP thing going on when you take a look at the nominal GDP? It appears that is the case. So that's what I got there today, guys. On that, let's go ahead and jump over to OC. OC, do you got Soluna? Soluna. Let's go take a look at the not Solana token. Let's see what it is, man.
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was a combination of Solana and Luna. It has something to do, but it's Soluna, actually. Soluna Holdings. So shout out there. Mike Play, really nice tokens. I thought it was a joke for a little second, but let's check that out. It is Soluna Holdings Inc. 4 hours versus NASDAQ. All right, so we had a buy signal right here. Remember that we don't buy the actual buy signals. This is a buy up signal, basically mentioning that we're going up in trend, so breaking the trend, and well, we wait for retracement, especially breaking through the dynamic reactor. It's not about your breakout, it's about your retest, and then off we go, right? At this point, areas to be taking some profits, continuation now, retracement down, creating a trend line right here. And let's make that a little bit more professional looking. Here we go with the tools that are meant to be drawn right there. And well, we have a final bounce. Important, you could have been taken, and I know it's always like you could, right? But we're getting there. You could have taken an entry, and this would have been a very quick and dangerous trade, though, on a BOS trade, a break of structure continuation trade, right? Important with the break of structure continuation trade is that you do absolutely need to be quick. You also need a stop loss because you could be absolutely buying the top within BOS trade. So far, look at the retracement that we're having on Solana holdings, right? So this is not an opportunity to jump back in. We need a little bit more structure because look at how pumps and look at how dumps, all right? Especially on this very flat area, right? So just be careful out there. I would say like maybe we can go into 30 minutes or something like that and look at what kind of structure we had with was starting to look like a little pennant and then completely went downwards. In this case, we can start, let me just clean this up here, much better. We can start adding our predictive ranges. Here it is. And well, we have already broken them. Let's add another set of predictive ranges and let's wait for them to load. And maybe they're just too far away. Yeah, they're just too far away. All right, perfect. So what's going on in here? Where are our predictive ranges? Do we have one in here? We have another one in here. And we should be having one in the middle. I can find it, but that's fine. The point is that as we start creating more structure here, well, then you can start aiming for buying low, selling high, and having a hedge on a possible flag that could be transforming in here. This is not that different as the icons that we've been seeing. And let me show you, for example, which one was it? I think AIXBT. No, it was. Here it is. All right. XRP, we're looking at two supports, but also we're looking at this descending line, right, which created a symmetrical triangle, right? The same thing that we're looking right now at Soluna holdings, right? It is not there yet, so wait up, and then if we get that triangle, so it's not there yet, right? If we get that triangle, remember to try to buy low, sell high, stay within a hedge, and then wait for the breakout. In this case, I was looking for a breakout, retest, and then continuation. But in this case, well, the retest did not play it out as expected. We did hit early profits in here, but did not went all the way up to the actual target that I was expecting. Still, that's why we use a stop loss. Let's go check out another one that you requested, Mike Clay. RRR. Here is we have Richtech Robotics Inc. We're hitting previous highs in here. That is important on the 4 hour. Let me clear my chart a little bit in here. And there we go. Let's just look at our oscillator. We're very far away from our dynamic reactor. In our oscillator, we have already peak performance. We still have strength on our ADX, and let me show you. This is the ADX. So if we're still pushing to the upside, that means that we still have strength. And then on what? Let's bring up this, and we are on mint, or we are on green, which means bullish. So strength on the bullishness, even when we have our peak performance. That is not a buy signal. Once again, we need to flag out or at least do something like this. For that, we can go again to 30 minutes. All right, looking for that flag out. All right, and then let me add a couple of trend lines so you can see here. And then when we start having that triangle, just like before, right? You buy low, you sell high, you hedge, and then you wait for the breakout. In that way, regardless what position you are going to be making some money. So once again, we're waiting for more structure. I'm looking for a possible reversal right here because of the way that it's moving, and of course because of our peak performance in previous high areas right there. Getting to gray zones, this is on stocks. This is what I consider a purple line, right? Although we still have the purple line, I usually consider the gray line the big reaction area. So keep an eye because also our oscillator is flat, our ribbon is flat, and that could change direction at any point. Once again, wait for flag out, wait for structure, and then plan based on that structure. So that's what I got so far, Piper. Let me throw it back to you.
Yeah, so someone, I think it was Kelly, talked about defensive stock plays, and so I want to go over those real fast before we head out of here because defense contracting, was actually one of the first things that we talked about here on Hyper Academy channel back in October 2023. If you guys don't know, we're coming up on the 2-year anniversary as a channel here next month, which is very cool. Actually, here in about 2 weeks or so, we're going to be in the 2-year anniversary of Piper Academy that we've been doing this. But one of the first things that I brought up was defensive contract plays. Almost 2 years ago, October 2023, we talked about this. I want to jump over and just show you guys what they were, and we'll go through this list. You can see right now the white line that you're going to see running across the chart. That was the buy level when I got into all of these defensive stock plays. Most of them I've taken profits on, but we might be, potentially looking at another great run up again, depending on what goes on in the world. Geopolitical has effect, right? And so let's look here. October 2023, we were about right here. I ended up buying at 120 on this, took most of my profits when we lost this break of structure here and started to come back down, right? So didn't get the exact top. Could have, though. Look, the buy max profit there had triggered, but took most of the profits right here, about 170 range. Right now, slightly below that level that we called to buy out on, about 17% downside on that. But of course, you would have been able to get out much quicker when you see all of this start to change here into red on the quantum reactors and dynamic reactors on the daily. Okay, let's go look here. Lockheed Martin, guys, this one did a pullback, but has been on a nice little tick up. And this is the one I just showed you that special announcement from their research and development team over there. They may be coming out with something new, so something to keep an eye on. But again, October 2023. We were down in here. I bought when it broke. Dynamics, our buy level back here in October 23 was about right here. And then look, we gapped up and actually got picked up right as it was opening. So that was our open there. It's up since that time. Let's see. This thing is up 40% since then in October 2023. Raytheon was another call that I had, and I explained why, because Raytheon creates the air defense missile system, the Patriot missile system. That is their creation. They're the ones that do all of the updates on it. Of course, it looks like PAC-3 is actually getting some other updates from other companies now, but October 2023, right there, is where we called the buy on this one back almost 2 years ago. Northrop Grumman, this one was also picked up back in October 2023, right there at the opening. This thing from that point to now is sitting up about 27%. And then the last one was Spirit Aerosystems. This was my Hail Mary call that I put out. Why? Because they deal with a lot of research and development on the drone systems and stuff like that. This one, from the time that we got in on it to now, which it's getting a support bounce on the dynamic reactor at 125%. So there's my plays for defense contractors that I like to watch. That's from 22 years of being in the Army, in the intel sector and working with a lot of these contractors. So I know like what type of contracts they have. I was a COR, contracting officer representative for a lot of contracts. One of the largest contracts ever written in Afghanistan. Yes, I spent a shit ton of taxpayer money, but that I was the COR for that contract too. So, yeah, those are my watches that I have. Booz Allen Hamilton, and then of course Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, and Spirit Aero Systems. So, come back, check it out. Piper was in the Army. Yeah, who knew, right? Crazy. All right, OC, we got about 5 minutes here. You got anything else you want to take a look at? Have you looked at gold today? Have you looked at the DXY today?
No, I was not looking at gold, but I was looking at silver because you mentioned, hey, what
Okay.
about silver? And I was like, yeah, sure. All right. So
Yeah,
I got it right here. I can go do a little run over.
Yeah, and I want to take a look at the DXY before we head out too.
All right, so let's do DXY. Perfect. Got it here. Should be there. It is. All right, so let's go check that out. Don't know what. There we go. Much better. Right. So it was like very crazy line right there. So looking at the daily, let's get to the daily really quickly. Just to make sense of what is that line. So we were looking at a bounce up from that zone to the resistance right here. And then, well, not the order block, because the order block, well, despite it wasn't there, we were talking about this trend line here. All right. So we are having that bounce in place a little bit earlier on what we were expecting, but that's fine. And then going to the resistance for then maybe a retracement, a continuation upwards in here. Right. Let me just get rid of this. It's a little bit out of place or out of zone. And let me go back to the 4 hours here. In the 4 hours, we also have another line aiming for a bounce right in here. So we are bouncing right now. We're getting below dynamic reactor, having as a resistance, of course, but we have a high order block right here, and we have a buy up signal, which means, hey, we don't buy the buy up signal, we buy the retracement, find the support, and then off we go. Important, we're still bullish, but we're losing strength on that bullishness, right? So that retracement might be in place. So another important thing is that we're above the zero line, and our volume matrix seems very, very healthy. So that means that we might still have the momentum or the volume to create momentum for the next hit to dynamic reactor, which might imply a breakout. All right. And look at that breakout. We'll get to this high order block, which also impacts right on the trend line. So I think both of those analyses are coinciding, at least on my side. So, well, just get ready, because DXY, well, you know the relationship that it has with with Bitcoin. So coming back down a little bit, all right, and then continuation up, all right, that will actually get me back to Bitcoin charts. But that's what I got on DXY, Piper. Let me turn it back to you.
Did you do silver? Are you good?
Oh, yeah, I can do silver. Absolutely.
Yeah, knock it out real fast. What do you got for it?
Perfect. All right. So
Tell me
let's go
why I
in.
should hold
There it
my
is.
silver for longer.
All right. We're actually taking profit zones. All right. So, I mean, you're absolutely perfectly fine selling a portion of it, right? But let's bring up, here we go, our predictive ranges. And we are right now, as we were expecting, hitting on, well, the golden line that we have for predictive ranges. Important. We already have broken it, right? So we break it, and we could be expecting a little bit of come on, brush, there it is, a little bit of a noise in here as we start getting to the peak performance, or even having that goose head. Remember, goose head means a little retracement for a continuation for then bigger retracement. So again, I mean, I think your immediate target could be somewhere around 44.72. But I mean, you are on taking profit zones, right? And we talked about this before. I don't quite remember when we talked about silver, which wasn't that far ago. It was last week, and we're talking about the bullish flag possibly forming as we were coming back down on higher time frames. So other than that, well, that flag has broken structure, so there's no flag anymore, but still looking pretty nice for a run up, or for a continuation upwards all the way to 44.75. So that's what I got. Haven't
Sweet.
lost some strength, but
$50.
yeah, on the way up.
$50, man. $50. I start selling
$50.
some
Let's
silver. I'm
go.
just saying, at 50, I start selling. That's all there is to it. Appreciate your time, OC. I know you got to run over and do some ChartPrime classes with Alex O, so I'll go ahead and let you out of here. Much appreciated, man. You, as they say, you are the indicator god, and we appreciate you. So, I'll see you later, OC. Guys, thanks for joining us today on the Piper Academy Network. I appreciate everyone that's here. Shout out to Keen Bean. He said he was lurking. Appreciates all the intel. We appreciate you, man. Shout out to everybody that joined us here today. I saw LBC. I saw Tex-Mex Biomex in the house. So much love to everybody that joined us over here. Always honored and humbled that you guys want to come listen to me ramble and rant and rattle on. But guys, that's the market today. We're going to be taking a look the rest of this week at what's going on with the macro events. So make sure sure you guys are tuned in right here every morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to tune in to OC Guy, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, trade setups with OC, and then Good Morning Crypto with BC Port Corp at the wee morning hours right here on the Piper Academy Network, giving you the setup so we can spike it home right here at 10 a.m. Until next time, guys, trade safe. And as always, use some risk management. We're heading over to Crypto Coin Mindset. T.I. Joe and Keith are waiting for us over there. So make sure you guys drop graduation caps. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace, love, profits. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Later.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. ChartPrime visual signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage.
We'll see you at the next
Don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?